Brendan Conley here with the Lake Life team at Keller Williams. We have another great community hero this month. We actually have two. We have Nikki Lyons Lahey and Holly Blanchard from Make-A-Wish, New Hampshire. Let's hear what they have to say.
Hi, my name is Holly Blanchard. I'm the Director of Marketing for Make-A-Wish, New Hampshire and one of the co-chairs of Rafting for Wishes.
I am Nikki Lyons Lahey, and I'm the Director of Community Outreach for Make-A-Wish New Hampshire and the other co-chair for Rafting for Wishes.
At Make-A-Wish New Hampshire, we say that together we create life-changing wishes for children facing critical illnesses. We grant wishes for kids all over the state of New Hampshire between the ages of 2.5 and 18 years old, and these are kids who have been diagnosed with some type of degenerative, malignant, or progressive illness.
A wish is so much more than just something nice to do for a child. At Make-A-Wish New Hampshire, we really stress that a wish creates that turning point for a child. A wish gives these children something to look forward to and something to dream about. Our kids are ripped out of their childhood and have to face horrible illnesses, and a wish gives them something to talk about as a family. It gives them something to dream about and look forward to when all they have every day is to go to the hospital and receive their treatment. So a wish gives them the ability to be a kid again.
And a lot of doctors are now sharing that a wish is like modern form of medicine. Some doctors, when they get to a point when they feel like they can't offer their patients any other kind of treatment or procedure, they refer their kids for a wish. And doctors have shared that a wish can create such a positive impact on a childhood. And while a wish cannot cure an illness, it really helps them to find that strength to keep fighting and eventually overcome or get to a point where they're maintaining their illness.
A positive attitude is a really powerful thing for our kids. So at Make-A-Wish New Hampshire, my role is I am the co-chair of Rafting for Wishes, and so Holly and I work together on Rafting for Wishes to spread the word in this whole state of New Hampshire about our organization. It is not just a fundraising event, it is also a awareness opportunity. We've actually had wish families who have come to see and check out what Rafting for Wishes was, and before they were wish families, and actually realized that, oh my gosh, my child qualifies for a wish, and we get a referral out of it, which is exactly what we want to be doing. We want to reach every eligible child in the state of New Hampshire who qualifies for a wish, because we want them to have that thing that is life-changing. We want them to have that thing that is a turning point for them and gives them something to look forward to. So another part of my job is I get to work with volunteers in the community who come to us and say that they want to put on a fundraising event for Make-A-Wish New Hampshire. So we say that we have about 300 third-party events. They're as small as kids doing a bake sale or a lemonade stand at the bottom of their driveway, or as big as people putting on a golf tournament for us, or a gala for us. And so I have the privilege of working with volunteers in the community who decide that they want to create a fundraising event for Make-A-Wish, which is fabulous, because then we're not spending donor dollars trying to fundraise. Instead, we're spending donor dollars to directly impact our kids and grant wishes for our children. So I am very privileged to be able to work with people who have hearts of gold and who just want to make a difference. And if it raises a couple $100 or $20,000, $30,000, every little bit helps, and we are greatly appreciative of that.
Each year in the state of New Hampshire, we grant between 85 and 90 wishes, and we're so excited that this year we've hit that 90. So we have reached 90 kids in New Hampshire facing critical illnesses, and to give them that experience, trip, whatever it may be, that changes their outlook on life and helps transform their life in a positive way is such a rewarding thing to be a part of. And through my role, I get to share the stories of these wish kids and their families and the donors and the volunteers, because like we said, together we create life-changing experiences. It's not just Make-A-Wish doing it as a staff, it's the volunteers, it's the donors, it's the community that comes together to make a wish a reality. And so to be able to share these stories through my role as the Director of Marketing, whether it's working with the media or posting on Facebook or sharing a story on our website, it's an honor to be able to share these stories and show the folks who are doing these amazing events in the community why it's so important that they're doing the work they're doing.
About what Holly does is she's showing it from others' perspectives. So it's nice to hear from us as staff to say like, hey, this is great, Make-A-Wish is awesome, but it's so much more powerful when you hear from a family that it was life-changing for them, that they had the ability to be a family again. And I remember one mom telling me forever ago that as they were driving from the airport to their destination, she heard her kids arguing in the back seat, and it was the first time that they'd done that because the other siblings were always so cautious to not upset the child who was sick, and they were kids again. They were acting like kids again and just fighting like kids do and being a normal family again. And Make-A-Wish does so much more for these families than just that week trip or that day event or becoming a firefighter, wherever it might be. It gives them all hope and it gives them strength, and it really does so much more for our families.
Rafting for Wishes is a unique event that takes place right here in New Hampshire. In fact, it's the only event that takes place throughout the country. The Make-A-Wish New Hampshire is one of 62 chapters throughout the country. And as far as we know, we're the only one that has this really cool, unique event.
We have, however, had a lot of chapters reach out to us with an interest of stealing this event.
Yes, so we're happy to share with anyone
Absolutely.
who's interested. But about 8 years ago, this event started with two guys who took to the Merrimack River in a raft. And the idea behind the event was to stay out on the rafts for as long and as many hours as there were Wish kids. And so now where we're at the point granting 80 to 90 wishes a year in New Hampshire, there's no way we're gonna ask our participants to stay in stationary rafts for 80 hours. But 2 years ago, Nikki and I had this opportunity to take over the event and work together as staff members and co-chairs to really give this event a facelift. Before we took it over, it was taking place for 44 hours. And 2 years ago, we were celebrating our 30th anniversary as a chapter here in New Hampshire. And so we said, let's make this event 30 hours. Let's inspire our participants and let's raise $100,000. It was a lofty goal because at the time, the event had only ever raised about $65,000. And so we were nervous, we were excited, we are go-getters, and we're determined to achieve goals that we set for ourselves and for the organization. And so we ran with it. And that first year that we took it over, we raised about $140,000, which was, it far surpassed the goals we had set for ourselves and for the organization. So then it was like, how do we continue to make this event grow? What's going to be our goal next year?
And I think the funny part is Holly and I kind of just made this up and went with it. We were like, let's create sponsorship opportunities because this is a great opportunity for people across the state to share about their business, and we're gonna have the media on us, so we might as well give these opportunities. And I remember going to Rotary clubs and little meetings throughout the community with the movers and shakers of the state of New Hampshire, and we'd present this idea of like, hey, do you want to have a team? Do you want to help us find sponsorships? And then they'd ask us what our goal was, and we'd say, it's lofty, but it's 100,000. And they looked at us like we were crazy, and I think we just knew it was possible. So it ended up working out, and as Holly said, it ended up raising over 140,000. I think after costs and everything, it was a little less, but we knew that like we had exceeded our goal, and that was pretty awesome. And so I've lived in the Lakes region for the last 12 years now, and having it take place right in my backyard, I knew that I wanted to get the people that I know and love in this area involved. And having a family business myself here in the Lakes region, my parents, I knew how great this community was. I've always been so inspired. When my dad got sick a couple of years ago, people rallied behind my family and helped my dad get better and helped support our family. And I just remember feeling so grateful and remembering like this community is awesome. There's nothing like it in the Lakes region, and then the New Hampshire community as a whole. And so we knew that this was the event and this was our opportunity to really get the state involved. And so it was nice because Holly and I would go to Rotary clubs and meet with them and tell them about the idea, but we would also just talk to business owners that we knew and business owners that I knew personally that I would help them with a gift certificate here and there, whatever they needed. And so it was our turn to say like, hey, do you want to get involved? And so this past year, the Rafting for Wishes 2018, we had another lofty goal of $150,000. And we are very excited to share that after all is said and done, we're going to be over $202,000, which for us is amazing. I remember the first year we're like, this event's gonna be like 200,000 someday. And now to know that in just year 2, we reached over 200,000, it's pretty remarkable. So we're not sure what our goal will be for next year, but we hope to just keep exceeding it, even if it's just by $1 every year. We just want to spread awareness about Make-A-Wish New Hampshire and the work that we do, but also get as many people involved with Rafting for Wishes. We know it's growing, we know it's a fun event, and it's a great employee opportunity for companies to get involved, but it's also just great for the Lakes region to have more people that wouldn't normally be here that weekend to be a part of it.
We couldn't do what we do at Make-A-Wish if it weren't for the support of individuals, businesses, companies, and so many people. I think one of my favorite sayings is it takes a village, and Make-A-Wish is no different. There are so many opportunities for individuals to get involved, from young students in kindergarten all the way up through high school. We have an amazing Kids for Wish Kids program that allows students to take hold of an event, make the event their own, do fundraising efforts, or just even be ambassadors for the program. There are actually 5 different categories of wishes. So often people think that kids are just wishing to go to those magical theme parks in Florida, but that's not the only wish we grant. The most popular category is definitely I wish to go somewhere, but maybe it's I wish to go to Paris, or I wish to go on a California adventure. We've granted both of those. Another popular category is I wish to meet someone. Maybe it's Tom Brady or their favorite celebrity. And the third category is I wish to have. So most recently we just did a backyard oasis for a young boy who, because of his condition, cannot go outside or be in the sunlight. So he has a new gazebo in his backyard where he'll be able to enjoy 3 out of our 4 amazing seasons in New England because of that gazebo. The fourth category is I wish to be something. We've done most recently in the Lakes region, I wish to be a firefighter, and the Laconia firefighters were amazing in granting Paul's wish. And the last category,
my
is a special
favorite
one.
category is I wish to give. And these are kids who they want to give back for their wish. They choose to use their wish for good and give back to something. And my all-time favorite story is a boy, Garrett, who, because of his illness, he lost his mobility and he was confined to a wheelchair. And so he knew how hard it was to lose his independence because he couldn't move on his own. And so his wish was actually to go to Cambodia and build wheelchairs for bomb victims. And so he built wheelchairs for bomb victims. And I was so inspired by it that I always share that story because it was remarkable that he wanted to help other people because he had this great opportunity. And I remember hearing about his story, and he told everyone, and he was sitting in his wheelchair, and then he stood up out of his wheelchair and walked. And so he overcame his illness, and he overcame what had stopped him, but then he also was able to give independence back to people that didn't have it. So those are my favorite.
Mm-hmm. And then that young man actually went on to attend school down south and started a Wishmakers on Campus program. And so I think that's what's so amazing about Make-A-Wish is that these kids, after their wish experiences, their families want to stay involved. They want to help impact other lives. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen in. Just by having you hear more about the mission of Make-A-Wish New Hampshire and learn what it is that we do and the kids we serve is making a difference. If you hear of a neighbor or a grandson or a nephew or a friend's child who is diagnosed with some kind of illness, you now have the knowledge and the opportunity to let that friend or family member know that their son or daughter may qualify for a wish and that we are here in New Hampshire as a resource for these families. So thank you so much. We couldn't do what we do as Make-A-Wish New Hampshire without the support of communities and the whole entire state.
And I personally want to thank every volunteer who's ever been involved, the amazing people who started Make-A-Wish and who started Make-A-Wish New Hampshire, and just every volunteer, every Wish family, every donor, every supporter who has been involved with our organization, because it allowed us to be where we are. It allowed us to do something that we enjoy doing every single day and call it a job. So just from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for making a difference in so many people's lives.